Hello, hello, hello. I know the sound is not really good here in this little room, but I hope you don't mind. I hope that what I'm saying here is more important than the sound. And I want to make a quick video about the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse is at the 21st of August, but you kind of feel it a month before that and certainly a month after that. So that's why I'm talking about it quite early. So on the 21st of August, there's going to be an eclipse and it's a new moon. So what does it mean? Very shortly, the sun is together with the moon and the nodes are involved there. And it's all clustering together at 28, 29 degrees of Leo. Together with that, there's also Mars, which is quite significant because Mars is the planet of doing, it's a planet of action, it's a planet of our drive, our passions. So, what does it mean? Is it for everybody relevant? No. For who is this eclipse going to be very relevant? For everybody who's got personal planets, so the Sun, the Moon, an Ascendant, a Venus, a Mars, a Mercury, even a Jupiter, even a Saturn, in that particular area, so around 28 to 29 degrees of Leo, but also 28, 29 degrees of Aquarius, of Taurus, and of Scorpio. So people who've got planets there are really gonna feel this energy. And let's explain first. So it doesn't mean to say when you are an Aries, for instance, that you aren't going to feel anything. At the end of the video, I'm going to, for every sign, very quickly, what area of life this will be important, this solar eclipse, because it's an important one. It's a total solar eclipse, so it's very, it's very total, so to speak. But what is the energy all about? Now, if you want to know more about the solar eclipses, about Saros family and all of that, you know, the technical stuff about astrology, check out the description box because there I have put a link about a very old video of mine of the Saros family and it gives you a bit of an explanation there. But this eclipse belongs to a family which is called the cycle North 1, and this cycle is all about surprises and it's all about keeping your feet on the ground. So that's the general flavor. It's about surprises, but good or bad, that's impossible to say in a video here for many viewers. And of course it is in Leo. So what is this all about? Leo is the sign of the heart. And it's the sign of self-expression. And the North Node is in there as well, which is all about I'm expressing my unique self and I'm enjoying myself as well. It's associated with the 5th house, which is all about enjoyment and having a good time and expressing yourself how you feel. In opposition to Aquarius, which is a sign which is all about the group, the network, people that are like-minded, and I'm going to check if they like what I'm doing. So it's actually very important to know that we don't have to dismiss the Aquarian energy where the South Node is. I mean, it doesn't mean to say we have to dismiss the South Node and we have to go towards the North Node. No. It means that we can use our ability of the South Node, which is the networking, which is the friends energy, in order to become better in the Leo energy, which is expressing ourselves, our unique selves, but in a way that is not selfish, that is not harming others. On the contrary, that is actually inspiring others. That is actually by being, it's very much, in a nutshell, it's about being ourselves and being okay with that we can be very inspiring and warm towards other people. You know, that's the good trait of Leo. I'm going to do very soon a video about narcissism. And people often think this is all about a Leo trait. But it isn't. It's more than that, because in narcissism, for instance, you have overt and covert narcissism. And yes, the overt is more a bit towards the fire signs, which is the Leo. So yes, taking selfies all of the time and watching Facebook and seeing people over there that you know that are in big trouble in a relationship, for instance, and then you see them around the table and very cozy with their relationship and saying that everything is all right. You know, that kind of energy is the negative side of the Leo. It's the negative. It's like, look what I have, look what I. And it's being proud, you know, being very proud, being very bossy. That's not the energy that you want to go when we talk about this Leo kind of energy. The energy that you want to go towards is a positive Leo, which is a warm personality, which is doing what you like, but at the same time, as I said, empowering others and also learning others how to express themselves and being okay with that. Being not jealous or envying or whatever, and knowing that there is always a price if people do to pay. Because I often hear from friends, I'm not on Facebook, and that's one of the tiny little reasons that I'm not on Facebook, is that often I look at Facebook and I see that people have, like now for instance in Belgium, a lot of students have you know, it was the end of the school and a lot of students are just saying, oh yeah, I have this grade or this grade. Well, if someone has a high grade, instead of being envying that person and say, why I'm not like that, you know, the victim role, you can think, oh, maybe this person can either be very clever, of course, but there's also a price to pay. Maybe this person's worked very, very hard to achieve what they have achieved. And that we don't see at Facebook, do we? Therefore, it's such a hypocritical thing. But there's good things about Facebook as well, don't get me wrong. But I like authenticity. And this is certainly a period of time where people are called to be very authentic, to be very much themselves. But as I said, in a positive way. You know, a very positive Leo, for instance, who is quite often the performer, quite often the entertainer. But they like to do that. And because of that, they uplift other people. And so we are all at a certain area of our lives, because we all have Leo in our chart, we all have that calling to enjoy ourselves a bit more, to express ourselves a bit more, to do what we like to do instead of what we are supposed to do or what other people tell us what to do. You know, to find our authentic self is very much in the spotlight, whether it is within a relationship, whether it is within a job. We are all going to feel that pull towards that authenticity, and that is, I think, a good thing. Although solar eclipses are very much known as energies where there are big endings and new beginnings. So for a lot of people, there's going to be endings, yes. There's going to be new beginnings as well. And it can be that we're going to have a look at that in a minute for every sign, but especially the fixed signs. So the Taurians, the Aquarians, the Leos and the Scorpios are going to feel this energy a lot, because they are really pulled towards this new energy. So for a lot of you out there, you probably already know what I'm talking about, that is ending, and that there is some sort of new beginning. So that is all pretty good. But this energy, why is this energy more passionate than normal? Because Mars is involved here. Mars is conjunct with the moon and it's trining Uranus. This is very liberating energy. So, in other words, I don't mind what sign you are, but if you're one of those people that feels that you're in a trap for a long time, in a negative energy for a long time, whether it is work that you don't like to do, whether it is a relationship that you feel is so toxic, it's time to get out of there. It is a good timing around between now and September, because these energies are working with you. The Mars is in a trine with Uranus, and a trine is positive energy. And this is all about, I'm doing my thing. It's a bit my way or the highway, but again, do it not in a selfish way, but do it in a way that you feel like, look, if I'm doing this, it's the best thing for everyone. You can work, for instance, in a company, and I surely did that for many years, my goodness me, and you can all of a sudden realize, have the insight that you're not happy, but actually because you're not happy there in a company, you're not doing good stuff there either for that company, so to speak. So it's better for you to go. Things like that are very much to the forefront here within this time of eclipse. As I said, those 4 signs, a bit more, but very interesting for new times around. So people around August, September, even now already in July, are gonna feel that they are making big shifts. I see a lot more clients of the fixed signs now, like I said, the Aquarians, Taurians, Leos, and Scorpios, who've got planets there, and I see a lot of, sometimes a crisis, but a crisis is often there to change the roads, or to make us see something that we haven't seen for yet. Always with something negative, there is something positive, believe me, and it's up to us to apply that. It's up to us to perceive that, and it's up to us, because we all are going to have some crises every now and then in our lives. No one is, even the people who are putting on their Facebook always the positive. That's not realistic. We're living on planet Earth. Even when it seems that we have all the things going together, our life on the inside may fall apart. That is possible. And I'm seeing that a lot with clients today, these days, that they are really up to a point that they are willing to see it. That's one thing. And then they are willing to do something about it. And this energy helps because it's a very passionate energy. The moon with Mars. People who've got moon-Mars aspects, they are go-getters. They are people who are not in the victim role. And isn't that a good thing? That we all have our temperament, of course. But isn't that a good thing that we are going towards that energy, taking our lives in our hands, and we can do something about it. But as I said, there's always a price to pay. Of course there is. You can't always have both. And so very interesting energy for all of us. Very liberating energy with the Uranus there. Uranus is a planet of sudden events. So there could be some sudden events happening that are out of your control. But again, it's how we deal with it. So, because some people ask me, is this going to be a positive eclipse for me or a negative one? Well, I always say, try to make it as positive as you can. Because everyone's perspective, which is unique, is different. And people who are dealing with the same stuff, they deal with it differently, in a more negative way or in a more positive way. And Leo is a very positive sign. So we can make the most out of it because they put in their hearts there. So it's a lot of heart energy. And don't we need this heart energy in this world? I'm not talking here about the collective. I know there is a lot of information out there about the collective with this eclipse because it falls on a president's ascendant there. And even that, maybe his hour of birth is not correct, whatever. It's falling on his Mars, which says a lot, which is quite drastic. It is, but we only have impact on our own lives. And that's why I think astrology works very, very well on a personal level. So I invite you to take your life into your hands. And when there comes a crisis, to be the positive Leo energy, I'm going to be strong and courageous because that's all the energy of the fire signs. And I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it work. I'll give you an example. We all go towards things that are really, really drastic and that are really, really negative. I see so many clients with illnesses, diseases, people that die, and so on and so on. But I'm so proud of all of them because they're working on it and they're wanting to have the insight and they want to get a better person because of dealing with the things that we don't control everything. We can control a lot, of course we do, but we can't control everything. Otherwise, if I could control everything, I could put the planets on other places, and I still can't do that. Thank God I can't. It would be a mess, wouldn't it? But what I'm trying to say is it's all up to us to make us as positive as we can, which demands courage, which demands perseverance, which demands work to be done. It's like a muscle, a positive muscle that we are trying to make it work. I had some really problems with my health last year. I really had. It was annoying and it was painful, I can assure you. But as I said, with a little crisis coming up there's always something positive. And to have a look at what is positive within the crisis can be so inspiring. Like with me, I met the most, during this process, I did met the most amazing, competent, inspiring, young, very driven people that were like, you know, top people for me, top dentists for me. They really were, and I'm so glad that I met them at that particular time, which was a bit of a difficult time. But anyways, they have shown me something about inspiration, something about the positivity about life. And I want you to have a look at that as well, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that is going to be difficult for you around August time. And again, you feel it already now. Probably in July what's going on. Let's do, to finish up, a quick going through the houses. For Aries, this is happening, this eclipse, in your 5th house. So Leo is for Aries, the 5th house. So for Aries people, and especially I'm talking here about the ascendant. So this is very general. If you want to know more specific, get in touch with me. I'll put these eclipses into the whole picture of the transits and progressions and solar returns and so on, and many more that I do when I do a reading. So for Aries people, it's fun. It's fun. It's have a look at your self-expression. Have a look at what is giving you energy, what is giving you a drive, what is giving you that sense of being alive again. So it's very positive for Aries people, because it's in a fellow fire house. Start a new hobby, start a new project, have some fun with your kids, have some fun like a kid. That's all the Aries energy. Taurians, this is happening in a key area of your life. Remember, your fixed sign, very important for you, this eclipse. Happening in your 4th house, which is your core. It's the most important, it's where you're coming from, and it opposes your career house. So changes there, big changes when it comes to career, but also big changes when it comes to you on an emotional level. It's about emotional stability now, and you're trying to reach that. Maybe through a little bit of a crisis every now and then, but you're trying to reach your emotional stability. That's what Taurians are all about when we talk about this eclipse. Now for Geminis, this is happening in your 3rd house of communication, which is your house. It's the Gemini house. So for Geminis, it's all about short trips, having fun with those short trips, having fun in your environment, doing a new workshop, learning something new. It's a very mental kind of house. Siblings, getting together with siblings. Maybe there's a sibling that is going through an important phase now. Could be the case as well. Through a bit of a crisis that your sibling is going through, it has an effect on you as well. And you're growing, both of you. Then what's after Gemini? Cancer. For Cancerians, this is happening in your 2nd house. This could be a totally new beginning when it comes to what you value, what you think is important. It's not always the money house. It's mostly for people actually the house of what you care for. So maybe you are going to sell everything that you have that you don't like anymore to make space for new things. Why not? Or maybe you are going to find a new financial plan towards the future. And that would be great as well. Whatever it is, there's something about your confidence. Your confidence could have a breakdown, but then have a very much stronger build up again. Something like that. Leos, what can I say for you Leos out there? Super, super important. Super important if you have any planets in Leos. For the generation, by the way, who've got their Plutos in Leo and Uranus in Leo. This is a generation who was born between the 1950s up until the end of the 50s. For you out there, women and men, huge transformation coming up. The same for those who have Pluto in Scorpio. This is this generation who was born between 88, 89, up until the mid-90s. If you are born between those years, again an emphasis on transformation, because the eclipse activates your Pluto. So this was for everyone, by the way. This was a bit, not for everyone, but for the people who've got planets there around, who were born around those years. So for Leo, yes, it's a total renewal. It could be a total renewal of your identity. So also a bit of a breaking down of what is happening with you. But on an inner level, very much it has to do with life part. It has to do with you, with your part that you're taking. You can totally change it. It could be the case that you're totally changing your part. And you're already doing that as from maybe June, July, and onwards, and it's good. It's way more freeing you up in a way, even when it gives you some restrictions, because this solar eclipse also trines Saturn. So big emphasis on you, a good time to just reinvent yourself, basically, to start all over again. You have the carte blanche. Oh yes, you do. And you have the passion to start something new. Virgos, you Virgos out there, this is happening in your 12th house. Wonderful, because, and I certainly kind of feel this because I have the sun in Virgo, not the ascendant, but the sun in Virgo. It's a lot about letting go. It's a lot about what is not longer suiting for you. You just let it go and it dissolves. The 12th house is the house of dissolvement, and it's a very spiritual house. It's a house that is very hidden. So a lot of people will not notice what you're going through, but it is a house of cleaning up. It's like you're getting all the old clothes out so you can put new in them. And within time, you will also have the feeling that you're kind of reinventing yourself. But there's a lot of cleanup to do. So do a lot of cleanup, Virgos. Normally, you kind of like that. And I mean, reorganizing and all of that stuff. But to clean up, the first thing to do is put things out of your closet, to put it away or to give it away. Giving it away is even better, because the 12th house is a very compassionate house. So on a psychological level, Virgos, and especially when the Mars and the Venus will be in Virgo, which will be September time. So very interesting time, Virgos. It's a time behind the scenes, but so that you can the next couple of months, like September, October, you will shine for sure. So the better you go through this process of saying goodbye to things, to people that are no longer suiting you, the more you allow and accept that, the easier it will go. Then Librans, this is happening in your 11th house. So for the Librans, there is like this totally new friendships coming up, already maybe going on for a while now. New friendships coming up, old friendships going out, new perspectives, new goals for the future. It's a very fun house, the 11th house. But there could be a bit, as I said, a bit of a crisis before you get the fun. And the little crisis could be that you have to let go of some old objectives, of some objectives that are not longer suiting you. Maybe you are a very young person and you get your grades now, and you know that you cannot become a doctor because you didn't have the you couldn't take that test or whatever, or it didn't work out. But maybe what about nursing? What about maybe working with elder people or whatever, that kind of energy. This is maybe a stupid example, but it's just I want to show to the Librans it's time to reinvent your aspirations for the future, and it's a good time for that. What else? Then after the Libras, we've got the Scorpios. Again, key area of your life, a very important eclipse for the Scorpios, especially when you have planets at the very end of Scorpio. So again, it's in your 10th house, which is actually a bit of a second ascendant, you could say. It's like also your life path is totally changing. For a lot of Scorpios, especially the ones who've got those later degrees, there are big shifts happening when it comes to work. Also when it comes to their personal emotional being. So maybe a bit of a crisis there happening, and that you have to make those changes when it comes to your work. For some people it's minor changes, for other people it's big changes. It all depends, of course, on the whole of your horoscope. But one way is certain. There's also, you together with the Leos and the Taurians and the Aquarians, you are getting the possibility of changing your life in a big way. And the start is now. Let's go to the Sagittarians. The Sagittarians, this is happening in a happy house, in the 9th house. So this is the house, this is your house. This is also very nice because it's the house of philosophy, it's the house of traveling. So if you can around that time and you travel, I think I'm traveling around that time. But anyways, if you do, this travel is going to have some life-changing effects, a bit of a fated kind of energy. So you could meet someone who's very important, or you could do something there in another country, in a foreign country, that really uplifts you. And it's going to make a change for a longer time, because these eclipses, they work like for 6 months afterwards. Then we have, after the Sagittarius, so Sagittarians, do your own thing, expand your mind, read, go to cultural events, travel, talk to foreign people, talk to people of different cultures, and you are going to have a bigger view upon your life. It's also the house of vision and opinions, so go for it. In a very positive way. The Capricorns, this is happening in your 8th house, and this is a very transformational kind of solar eclipse, because the 8th house is already the house of transformation. So for those of you, I'm just checking if the camera is rolling. Yes, it is. For those of you Capricorns, this is also a kind of eclipse that is happening behind the scenes, because this transformational energy can work on a very deep psychological level. So there are some big changes. There are maybe some fears that you're now willing to see, and that's the first step of going towards strength. And Capricorns are such a strong sign, and because it tackles those fears, and very cautious, yes, but that's why Capricorns can really transform themselves during this period. Then we've got the Aquarians, again a very important sign, because when you have an Aquarius rising, for instance, this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. So for Aquarians, it's a lot about relationships, some new beginnings, maybe some endings. But again, don't be afraid about, what is happening. Let the universe, God if you like, unfold what it needs to unfold, and take the best that you can. So for a lot of people, there's something happening about their relationships, one-to-one relationships, that takes them to a higher level. Whether that is good or bad, that higher level is very important, because you're starting from scratch again on a higher level. So people who are, for instance, married, they can now go up a level by deciding having children, for instance. Or there's something about their spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend that happens, maybe another job or whatever, that totally turns around their life, because they have to move to another country, etc., etc. So also for Aquarians, big changes to come. And then last but not least, the Pisceans. This is happening in your 6th house. So this is the house of health. and this is the house of work. This is the Virgo house actually. So for them, it's a lot about the day-to-day stuff. It's a lot about the routine. So there's something about the Pisceans that they kind of see now, that their routines, their daily life, their work, their administration, all those kind of things that they really don't like. Pisceans are in general not really keen on all these administrative structured things, but it's now time for you to do so. It's time to destructure how you were living and now reconstruct your new day-to-day life. So doing it on a very basic step, so to speak. So take each step as it comes and take it wisely, and it's a good time for you to focus on health. It's a good time for you to focus on healthy routines, but also on diet, also on your day-to-day life, how you can renew it. And it's in Leo, so how you can put some joy into it, you know, into our day-to-day routines. How can you put joy in brushing your teeth every day, for instance? Whatever, you can change your toothbrush, for instance. I'm kidding. But this is the energy for the Pisceans. Having said that, this is a long video, it's long enough. I thank you so much for watching. If this was any useful for you, thumbs up and share if you like. Going to do the video about narcissism very soon. If you have some ideas, just put them on the comments below. I'm very interested to know that. Thank you so much for watching and for your time. All the best with the eclipse, and see you next time. Bye-bye.